Welcome to HornbillTV's Explainer, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Almuli. The debate is now settled, or at least for now. The Supreme Court has declared that marriage is not a fundamental right and has ruled against same-sex marriage. The issue of same-sex marriage is extremely complicated. The reason is that thought components that make up the argument both for and against gay union is complex for many reasons. History, religion is there, ideology, definition of rights and privileges in the modern times, legislative imperatives of governments and communities across the world, social and community value systems, and of course, how your rights and privileges as a citizen are directly linked to your neighbor's rights. Let's examine some of the main points of the Supreme Court's verdict. On Tuesday, the Supreme Court agreed that there is no fundamental right to marry. In a majority verdict, the court ruled against same-sex marriage. A 5-judge bench led by Chief Justice of India D.Y. Chandrachud ruled against legalizing same-sex marriage in India. Ladies and gentlemen, reading out the judgment in a batch of petitions, the Chief Justice of India said the court cannot strike down the provisions of the Special Marriage Act of India or read words differently. Now, the bench debated on the question of unmarried couples, including queer couples, whether they can jointly adopt a child. And of course, some of the judges observed that it was wrong to assume that only heterosexual couples will be good parents. The court heard pleas challenging the provisions of the Special Marriage Act of 1954, the Hindu Marriage Act of 1955, and the Foreign Marriage Act of 1969. The petitioners had argued that marriage brings with it several rights, privileges, and obligations that are protected by the law. Justice Ravindra Bhatt said that the right to marry is not a fundamental right. The Supreme Court recognizes that marriage is a social institution. Marriage as an institution therefore precedes the state, he said. This implies that marriage structure exists regardless of the state, he said, and the terms of marriage are independent of the state and its sources are external. There cannot be an unqualified right to marry for any individual which is to be treated as a fundamental right, he said. The Supreme Court had heard the arguments for about 10 days in April and May. The court heard arguments about subjects including the right to equality, right to privacy, legal privileges and rights bestowed by marriage itself, and of course the impact of same-sex marriages on children and the society. Ladies and gentlemen, the parties that opposed the petitioners included the Government of India and the national child rights body, the National Commission for Protection of Child Rights. Nonetheless, the Supreme Court directed the center to safeguard the queer community, ensure that the queer community is not discriminated against, ensure that there is no discrimination to their access to goods and services, and the government should educate the public about queer rights, create a hotline for the community, and they should also create safe houses for the couples. The government is also asked to ensure intersex children are not forced to undergo operations. No person shall be forced to undergo any hormonal therapy too. That's what the court said to the Government of India. Create a hotline for the queer community as well. You are supposed to create safe houses for queer couples, ensure that intersex children are not forced to undergo any kind of operations. That's what the court said. The court also issued guidelines to the police not to harass queer people. Notwithstanding that it refuses to approve same-sex marriage, the Supreme Court judges also voted on whether or not queer couples can adopt a child. The 5-judge bench passed a 3-2 verdict against adoption rights for the LGBTQ community. Further, the Supreme Court has said that the queer couples must have certain rights as heterosexual couples. The state can indirectly infringe upon the freedoms if they do not recognize it. That's what the court said. There may be reasonable restrictions on that right. However, the court said the right to intimate association needs to be unrestricted. Tangible benefits of marriage are traceable to the contents of the law it aided. The Supreme Court also recognized that queer couples or persons cannot be discriminated. Material benefits and services flowing to heterosexual couples and denied to queer couples will be a violation of their fundamental right. That's what the court said. In another significant verdict, the court said that the Special Marriages Act cannot be struck down. If the Special Marriage Act is struck down, the court said it will take the country to the pre-independence India era. That's what the Chief Justice of India said. If the court takes the second approach and reads words into the SMA, it will be taking up the role of a legislature, the court said. It is, in fact, for the parliament to decide whether a change in the regime of the Special Marriage Act is needed. The point was that the Supreme Court cannot make laws, but it can enforce laws only. The court can't make laws, it can only interpret it and give effect to it. That's what the Chief Justice of India, D.Y. Chandrachud, said during the discussions and hearings. Justice S. Ravindra Bhatt said, there cannot be an unqualified right to marry, which again is to be treated as a fundamental right. While the judges agree that there is a right to relationship, the court recognizes that it falls within Article 21. This right includes the right to choose a partner and enjoy physical intimacy with them, including the right to privacy and right to autonomy. These rights should be enjoyed undisturbed from the society, and when they are threatened or their rights are threatened, that's where the state authorities has to come in to protect them. There cannot be any doubt that there is a choice to have a life partner. That's what the Supreme Court of India said. Thank you for watching Hornbill TV, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Al Mali. See you next time.